Welcome back to the C-Suite. I'm Danielle Deshaw. On this segment, we're going to be really focusing on these mindsets that women need to have if they are considering entrepreneurialism as a career journey. Here to talk to us about these mindsets is Charlene Walters. She is a business and branding coach, and she is the author of Launch Your Inner Entrepreneur. So welcome, Charlene, to the show.
Thank you so much. Hi, Danielle. Hi, everyone. I'm very happy to be here.
We're really excited to have you here because what you talk about in your book is all about these mindsets that women need to have when they are really exploring entrepreneurialism, either at the beginning of their career or if they're in it as well. So why is it important for you to support and help women entrepreneurs?
I've had a career in entrepreneurship and curriculum development, higher ed, and I'm a single mom. My husband passed away when my children were just 2 and 4. So I became instantly the sole breadwinner for my family. And from what I understand through research is that 42% of all women are in the same situation. So I really feel it's important to help other women who may be like me, who have to take care of their families. And sometimes in corporate world, we see that women don't maybe get as many opportunities, maybe they're paid less. So I think entrepreneurship is a wonderful option for them. And I really feel like it's my mission to help these women go out there and take control of their earnings and their lives.
Mm-hmm. So with this passion that you have for helping women to become entrepreneurs, why write this book?
So like I said, I had a background in entrepreneurship. I created a digital entrepreneurship MBA program, and I've always wanted to write a goal. It's like a goal of mine, a book. It's a goal of mine I've had since I was a little girl. So I was thinking about what I could write about and where I could add value. And it all came down to entrepreneurial mindset. And I started looking at what was available on the market, and there really wasn't a lot aimed at women. And I noticed that a lot of the entrepreneurs I were helping were women. So I decided to get out there and look at those areas that might help women where they might have weaknesses as business owners. And I think it's coming at such a great time when so many women left the workforce last year.
Yeah. And what I like about your book is it's filled with like a lot of practical tools and tips and even some worksheets as well. But there's a heavy focus on mindset. So why the focus on mindset?
So anything in life, entrepreneurship or anything about being professionally successful has to do with having the right attitude. So to be an entrepreneur, there are so many times that people quit after only a short while because they've hit setbacks, they've hit obstacles, they've hit failures. So if they don't have the right attitude, they're not going to make it far as business owners. So the mindset shifts really help women develop in those areas that they may be lacking. So for example, there's something known as a confidence gap between men and women. Often we'll see it in the workforce where men will go after positions when they only have 60% of the qualifications versus women who will only go after those same positions when they have 100%. And women are sort of taught to be perfect or close to it before we put ourselves out there. And as a business owner, we have to put ourselves front and center. And this can be more challenging, particularly when you're first starting out. So it's about developing those areas, also about helping women take risks, develop their money mindset. Sometimes we're taught in terms of selling that we're bugging or annoying people, and we don't want to do that, but we have to do that to be successful. So it's unlearning what we've been taught and relearning to position ourselves as helping others, because women really do love to help others, and we have a product, a service, a message that needs to be heard.
Mm-hmm. And what I like in your book, you write at the very beginning, it's your transformation will begin in the mind. After all, entrepreneurship is an inside job. But what did you mean by that?
So I mean that, it's really being an entrepreneur involves doing certain things, right? Taking action is the first mindset shift, because a lot of people talk about entrepreneurship, but it involves taking action and doing it over and over again. And in terms of entrepreneurship, you have to be able to change your mind, your way of thinking, to be different, to set yourself apart, to keep going forward, to build tenacity, resilience, creativity. I know for me, and I'm just as guilty as anyone. If I hit a setback or an obstacle, I feel that it hurts, right? But you have to come up with those ways to get unstuck, because it will happen to you repeatedly. So for me, for example, if something bad happens to me, I say, okay, this is not working right now. I recognize it. I take a little time off, an hour off, or I come up with a new strategy. I call someone that's sort of a support system to me. And that's so important in entrepreneurship, is developing those coping strategies for when you get in a rut, for when you're in something new, scary, for when you're putting yourself front and center and building your brand.
Mhm. And I like how the fact you say it's an inside job, because at the end of the day, it's all this almost intrinsic motivation that you have to keep learning what's going to work with you in order to keep moving forward.
A lot of it, yes, a lot of it seems simple, but it's really something we need to revisit constantly to keep moving forward, because it's a lot of ups and downs in entrepreneurship. It's not a straight line. So we've got to come up with those coping mechanisms to make it all the way through and be successful.
Mhm. Now, why did you focus on 10 mindsets in the book?
I sort of started looking at those areas that I think are important and that are something that I like to talk about and that I could add value. And that's what I came up with. That was the magic number. But it's about a lot of different things, even involving work-life balance for women, which is such a big one, because we're often, and not to say that men don't also support their families, because they do, but often the bulk of childcare responsibilities and family responsibilities falls on women. So that's an area that we definitely need support. So when I started looking at women in particularly, 10 was the magic number that I came up with.
Mhm. And my next question is really, out of the 10, can you talk about one or two that are really key for women who are just starting on their entrepreneurial journey?
I think, a lot of times as women, we're not used to putting ourselves front and center. We're worried about, causing too much attention, drawing too much attention to ourselves. And I remember back a long time ago, I had a colleague, she was really great at personal branding. And I saw her putting herself all the time in things. And I thought, I'm not sure about that. But then later on, I became that person. And that's what you need to do as a business owner. And I think it takes a while for women to get comfortable with that and kind of put themselves in the beginning. Also, dealing with haters is another big one, because sometimes we have people who are trying to talk us out of entrepreneurship, talk us into a safer path. So just coming up with strategies to deal with people that might not be so supportive is also key. And also dealing with imposter syndrome. That's another big one. It's said that about 70% of people suffer from imposter syndrome, or that feeling that you don't really belong, you've only gotten lucky. But it's more prevalent for women and those starting new projects, which is exactly what you'll be doing as a female entrepreneur.
Mhm. I love the fact that in the book, you keep it very simple, focused, and the book has a lot of structure and a really good flow to it as well.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It was definitely a joy to write it. And I'm so happy that it came right now, like I said, at a time when women really need that extra support.
Mhm. Absolutely. So thank you for supporting women as they are choosing entrepreneurialism as a career journey.
Thank you so much for having me on, and for being a supportive woman to help other women out there.